City power technicians are struggling to cope with the large amount of outages that have been exacerbated by load shedding, ironically. Aging infrastructure, staff shortages and financial constraints have all also made matters worse, often leaving Johannesburg residents without electricity for days on end. So to help us better understand the problems faced by technicians in particular, we're joined by the South African Municipal Workers Union, their Johannesburg Secretary, Thobani Nkosi, who joins us on the line this morning. Thobani, it's great to get your perspective on the situation at City Power, particularly in the context where we're seeing power outages as a result of load shedding. So as I said in my introduction, many parts of Johannesburg have load shedding that then go into power outages, and then it's picked up by load shedding again. So for days on end, people are without power. Do we have enough technicians in Johannesburg to deal with these constant trips?
No, thank you very much for this opportunity. Indeed, City Power has enough technicians. Not so long, they've recruited around 1,500 of them. So we believe they do have capacity. The primary challenge, especially in the past week, it was our natural cause, which is rain. That's one. But beyond that, these technicians are normally faced by two scenarios. One, threats from the same communities that they are servicing. The second one, it becomes criminals who go gun blazing in the hunt for these power cables that they are installing for communities. So therefore, the challenge around power technicians, wherein they can't restore power on time, it's simply because of crime, your strikes in the communities where people burn tires, and all we are calling for is that they can't go on such sites. They need to also protect themselves by not going there. So the primary challenge around City Power, it's the old infrastructure as well, that the stations that we have in Johannesburg are old indeed. But in terms of City Power even capacity, they do have capacity because they even have subcontractors as well.
Okay, that's actually what I want to ask you. Are these technicians that you're talking about, are they permanent employees or are they outsourced, as you say, subcontractors?
One, we've got the ones who are permanent employees who are directly employed by City Power. Two, we've got your subcontractors. Now the question comes to us again saying, are they qualified electricians,
Exactly.
especially on the subcontractors, or it's just people that were picked because of their companies registered with CIPRO that, yes, they can do this type of work. So there's that question in between.
Yeah, and what's the answer to that question? I mean, how do you get a job like that even as a subcontractor if you're not qualified?
The answer to that is simple. We continue calling for the fall of labor broking. We continue to say this tendering system is not taking the country forward. Let's directly employ qualified individuals so that they can do the job. So all we are calling for that, let's grab these tendering systems because they are actually not serving a purpose. The second part around tendering, we don't know who's actually stealing these cables because people install, tomorrow morning cables are stolen. So who gives which information actually around the issues of crime in terms of City Power cables?
So Thobani, you're saying on the face of it, I mean, essentially what you're saying is on the face of it, we have enough technicians that are being employed, permanently, subcontractors, etc. The question lies with whether all of them are qualified to do the job. And from what you've just said, the answer to that is no, which explains why residents are left without power, not for hours on end, not for days on end, sometimes for weeks on end.
Yes, that's true. And as I said earlier, that what will lead to that in a normal situation, in an abnormal situation, residents will be doing, City Power technicians are unable to access these communities. The second part, City Power forever complains about not having stock, certain material to fix certain danger boxes or substations. So it's both management, technicians, and the residents of Johannesburg as well.
Yeah, and obviously the load shedding, the constant switching on and switching off of the grid does not help with the kind of aging infrastructure that we have.
It doesn't help at all, especially in Johannesburg. because certain areas are mainly maintained by City Power. So load shedding, whether it's there or not, our infrastructure is very old, and two, our society is threatening the lives of these particular technicians who are trying by all means to service them.
So the lives of technicians are threatened when they are on scene trying to resolve a power issue. We're told that infrastructure is damaged on purpose as well because people are trying to get maintenance contracts from the city. Thobani, the mayor, Mpho Phalatse, is giving a state of the city address today, I believe. What are you hoping to hear? What should all of us be hoping to hear from her insofar as our power crisis is concerned?
No, from where we are hoping that they'll invest more on infrastructure, that's one. And two, they'll invest more on technical skills in the city of Johannesburg. Because you'll find in certain areas, I can take you to Joburg, it's difficult to get them to pay for technical skills for their own plumbers. So they need to invest more because we are moving to this 4IR industry. So therefore, the least they need to do is to put more money in City Power, invest in upskilling these technicians there. But over and above that, we are hoping that as employees in Johannesburg will be given priority as well, like the residents of Johannesburg, since we are rendering services to them.
Yeah, certainly. It's a disheartening situation, Thobani, not least because the kinds of issues you're outlining now, just in doing some reading on the story in preparation for our interview, was reported on and written about extensively as far back as 2005 when we were building up to the 2010 World Cup. And we were talking about having the kind of capacity electricity-wise to prepare for a world event like that. So it's a long time coming. Let me thank you for your time this morning. SAMWU's Johannesburg Secretary, Thobani Nkosi, joining us there this morning as we continue to unpack the crisis we're facing insofar as electricity is concerned.